The owner of a popular Corning restaurant is in trouble with the law for not paying taxes. 54-year-old Pella McClellan, who owns Market Street Brewing Company, pleaded guilty to violating New York state tax law. State police say McClellan failed to pay more than $250,000 in state taxes between 2003 and 2009. He was initially charged with second-degree grand larceny, but pleaded down to a lesser charge. McClellan was given a one-year conditional discharge and paid the restitution in full.
Well, now back to the Robies. Now, it's been nearly 19 years since their 4-year-old son, Derrick, was taken from them by a 13-year-old killer, Eric Smith. Now, you interviewed Smith in prison, and he swears he's not the same person.
That's right, and he's up for parole for a 5th time this week. And his victims' parents and brother are doing everything they can to keep Derrick's killer in prison.
I just remember him always watching over me, wanting to make sure I didn't get in trouble, and just always caring for me.
Dalton Robie wasn't even 2 years old when his brother Derrick was brutally murdered. But in the short time they had together, he knows his big brother was always there for him. A little boy full of energy, Derrick loved animals and playing practical jokes.
Yeah, he knew that the older ladies would be walking to church, and so he took his rubber snake out and laid it on the sidewalk and then watched out the window as people walked up the sidewalk.
Derrick was just shy of starting kindergarten and turning 5 years old when he was killed by 13-year-old Eric Smith. On August 2nd, 1993, Derrick was walking to a day camp just up the street from his home. Smith was riding up the street on his bicycle. He lured Derrick into a nearby field where minutes later, he was dead.
And then, of course, as more details came out, I mean, it was just kind of hard to fathom what he did. You know, how he led people away, how he drove by Derrick on his bike, turned around, saw the other kids going into the park, and then he came back and approached Derrick. I mean, it was so calculated.
Smith was convicted of second-degree murder in 1994 and sentenced to 9 years to life in prison. Now he's 32 years old and up for parole a 5th time, an opportunity he gets every 2 years. Dale and Dori say it's their mission to make sure he stays behind bars.
So it's very, very important we do what we can. And it's all we can do for Derrick.
Dalton, Dori, Dale, and members of the community submitted more than 100 letters to the parole board, fighting to keep Smith in prison, afraid he might someday hurt someone else.
I mean, if I didn't do that, if I didn't fight every 2 years, and he was released, and then he did something to somebody else, I could never forgive myself.
Dale also makes a video for the parole board, a montage of Derrick's short life.
If I had only known it was my last night by your side.
Even though Derrick's time with Dalton was cut too short, he says there's lessons to be learned from Derrick's life.
He enjoyed life. He lived it to the fullest he could. It shows we all need to do that.
Smith took away Dalton's big brother, his protector, the person who would have been Dalton's best man at his upcoming wedding.
Where would he be, with me? What would we be doing? The nights that I could be sitting on the porch talking to him about my day, it's just, I lost my best friend.
Dalton wonders what life would be like if Derrick were still here today, but knows his big brother would still be looking out for him.
It feels good knowing, he's always there. And I think he's always there.
And you can see Derrick is still very much a part of his family today. And tonight at 11, we'll hear more from the Robies on why they think Smith should remain in prison and what they're trying to do to keep serious criminals behind bars for longer between parole hearings.